Yo, what's good YouTube? Zancrow here, aka Scoot, back again with the Nanamore National Draft League Season 3, and we've got our week number 4 match, and we're taking on the Gainesville Gallades, coached by A1 Gallade, also known as John. And he's got a fucking scary squad. He's got the Mega Mawal, Necrozma, Garchomp, Empoleon, Virizion, Decidueye, Moltres, Raikou, Golbat, Camerupt, Quillfish, and not Licky Licky, but Lickitung, where his Z move users are Garchomp and Virizion. And our squad hasn't changed again. We actually did try to make some changes, but the guy who dropped his team actually came back and took his team back, so not a big deal. We have Mew, Mega Pincers, Zeraora, Rotom Wash, Floette, Eternal, Skarmory, Druddigon, Breloom, Alolan Persian, and Drifblim, where our Z move users are Mew, Alolan Persian, and the Drifblim. And for this matchup, he's got Mega Mawile, and that's scary. He's got Garchomp, and that's scary. So Z Garchomp and Mega Mawile are two of the best breakers in the game. I'm expecting both of those to come. And he's got things like Empoleon, Quillfish, and Camerupt, which kind of deters me, and even Golbat and Moltres kind of deters me from bringing Floette Eternal. But I felt like it was okay in this matchup. I'm bringing a defensive variant for the Garchomp, which is nice for me. Anyways, he's got what his first. Well, these aren't the way he drafted them, but the first 4 mons there on his squad, you can see have Stealth Rocks, and then he has Camerupt as well that gets Stealth Rocks. He's got Toxic Spikes and Quillfish. I think gets Spikes as well, but he doesn't have like Rapid Spin. He only has Defog, so I don't feel him bringing Hazard Stack versus me. He's also got things like baton passing stats like Swords Dance, but like if he's got Decidueye and he's a Swords Dance and baton pass variant into something like Garchomp or Mega Mawile, then that's really scary for me. He could also bring like Trick Room Necrozma with Mega Mawile and like a slow team. Empoleon, for example, could be a very offensive Empoleon, but really slow, and he could really take advantage of that. As my speed tiers outside of my like defensive mons, I'm not too slow. Like Trick Room's very good against me. So we've got Mew, which is a taunt variant with Mono Psyshock. Calm Mind, Roost, and Taunt are my status moves, and then Psyshock. He has no immunities. He does have a couple of resistances in Mega Mawile and the Empoleon, but nothing that truly, is immune to Psychic type moves. So I felt like this very defensive Mew with Psyshock and Calm Mind and Roost could put in the work, and hopefully it can do so. Next up we have Mega Pinsir with Substitute, Frustration, Earthquake, and Quick Attack. I'm loving the ability to run Mega Pinsir with just Substitute. I don't even have to run Swords Dance. I haven't ran Swords Dance that much this season. Able to run Substitute last week, able to run Substitute this week. We've got Frustration, Earthquake, and Quick Attack. Earthquake hits the Mega Mawile, Empoleon, and the Raikou, all of which are the only resistances to my Flying type stab. And that's really nice, able to hit all of them for super effective damage. And then Frustration and Quick Attack really puts in the work versus the rest of his squad. I'm 2-hit KO and everything, which is fantastic, if not just OHKO-ing things like Virizion, Decidueye, like an offensive Moltres gets OHKO'd, things like that. It's really nice. And Substitute, if I can get up a sub and he's sacking something like Virizion or Decidueye or something like that to bring in Quillfish and intimidate me, behind a sub, I don't think I take the Intimidate. I don't think so. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, please. Anyways, next up we've got our Speedy Mon. We've got Zeraora running an Adamant Nature, able to afford that and outpace up to Raikou, which is his fastest Pokemon. And Plasma Fist, we have Plasma Fist, Close Combat, Knockoff, and Hidden Power Ice. I thought about running Hidden Power Water for the Camerupt, but I felt like Close Combat was a cover-all for Camerupt, Lickitung, Virizion, and things like that. Even hits Raikou harder than Plasma Fist does. So basically the idea is to click Knockoff until all of his electric immunities and electric resistances are gone, and then spam Plasma Fist. And if it comes down to it, I've got Hidden Power Ice for Garchomp, and I've got Knockoff for things like Decidueye, which is really nice. And I can always bait in Decidueye with my Rotom Wash, which we're going to be talking about right now. We've got a Volt Switch, Hydro Pump, Hidden Power Ice, and Will-O-Wisp variant. We've got enough speed to outpace a max speed Jolly Mega Mawwall, and I think that's it. But the idea is to just bait in his grass types, Volt Switch out into Mega Pinsir, and then start, wreaking havoc, sub up and wreak havoc or something like that. Hidden Power Ice is there for the Garchomp as well. Hydro Pump there for the Camera Up, needed that, and then Volt Switch there for basically everything else. And then Will-O-Wisp is really nice for Mega Mawwall. It's also nice for Garchomp, but at the same time he could be sub SD Salicberry, which is scary, or he could just be a Z move. So having the Hidden Power Ice to hit it immediately and do super effective damage is really nice. Next up, we've got Floette Eternal, which is a Leftovers variant with Moonblast, Hidden Power Ground for Quillfish, Empoleon, Camera, things like that. And if Golbat's speedy, then while it roosts up on me, or tries to, I can hit it with a super effective Hidden Power Ground, which is really nice. We've got Wish Protect. We can pass wishes into Rotom Wash. We can pass wishes into Mew and Dredagon as well, but not really seeing myself passing a wish into Mega Pinsir or Zeraora unless I know that my substitutes have wore me down on Mega Pinsir, or my Life Orb has wore me down on Zeraora, and I know I can live any hit and pass a wish into those. That's the only time I'll be passing a wish into those. Anyways, last but not least, we have Dredagon, Rough Skin variant with Leftovers. No Rocky Helmet this week, kind of just needed the Leftovers. With a Careful Nature, able to take on Raikou pretty well. Using Dredagon to combat Raikou is really nice for me, because then it really opens up holes for Zeraora and Mega Pinsir. So we've got Stealth Rock, Dragon Tail, Earthquake, and Glare. Pretty much the same set as last week, except we're rocking a Careful Nature and Max HP, Max Def this week. So yeah, looking at his squad, he could really pressure me with things like I don't either bring a Psychic Immunity, so Necrozma could be scary. But yeah, I guess that's it for prep, and we go ahead and hop into the replay. Alright, so here we are with the replay, and A1 decides to bring his Mega Mawwall, Decidueye, Raikou, the Camera Up, Necrozma, and Garchomp. So in prep, I talked about my Zeraora set a little bit extra, talking about my move set and how I thought about running Hidden Power Water for the Camera Up, but ultimately decided Hidden Power Ice for the Garchomp was better because Garchomp's more threatening, things like that. But he decides to bring both, which kind of, it's tough. It's tough for Zeraora. But thankfully, I brought the Close Combat. He did not bring the Virizion, which is really nice for my Zeraora. I guess I could have ran Fire Punch instead of Knockoff to hit the Decidueye and the Virizion. But being able to get rid of items on things like Raikou, Necrozma, and even the Camera Up is really, really nice for me. So he's got, what, 4 potential Stealth Rockers in this match alone. Mega Mawwall. I don't really expect it to have Rock since he has 3 other potential Rockers. And then the Garchomp as well. And again, with Camera Up and Necrozma being there, I don't expect Garchomp to have Rocks either. Their offensive presence is really, really nice in this matchup. So I felt like he would have it on Camera Up or the Necrozma. And since he did bring the Camera Up, I'm going to guess that it's his Rocker. And then the other 3 potential Rockers would be, more offensive or tailor-made to take on something on my squad. And the Decidueye is really nice. It can have U-turn. Like I mentioned in the prep talk section of this video, he could have Baton Pass. He could be a Swords Dance Baton Pass variant and Baton Pass into Necrozma, Necrozma and Mega Mawwall and the Garchomp. He could also be, it didn't come to my mind until we actually played, but he could be Nasty Plot, Baton Pass 2, and Baton Pass into Raikou, Camera Up, or the Necrozma. And some other mons that he left on the bench, excuse me. Anyways, so seeing that he has 4 potential Stealth Rockers, and I'm leaning towards Camera Up being his Rocker, I'm going to go ahead and say that's the case, here at preview. Garchomp Mega Pinsir looks really good in this matchup once I can weaken the Raikou or eliminate it from the match entirely. And also, once I can weaken Camera Up or the Garchomp, then Zeraora also looks really, really nice. So, yeah, that's going to be the game plan, is to weaken those things and then put in the work with Mega Pinsir or the Zeraora. And we're going to see what he leads with here. We're going to lead with a Rotom Wash, as it would lead well against most of his squad, and I can throw Hydro Pumps off versus Camera Up, I could throw Hidden Power Ice off versus Garchomp. I could Volt Switch versus the Necrozma or the Raikou, or Hard Switch versus the Decidueye, and throw off a Will-O-Wisp versus the Mega Mawile, which could, severely cripple that thing. He does lead with his camera up here, so turn one, I don't want to make too crazy of a play, so I'm just going to click Hydro Pump there in case you wanted to click Toxic or Rocks or something like that. And I'm going to Volt Switch here. First of all, I had Dredagon in the back, so I didn't see him necessarily clicking a Grass type move, and I had Mega Pinsir in the back as well, so I didn't expect like Leaf Blade or anything like that. If anything, he was going to go for the Spirit Shackle, and Volt Switch can, Volt on out versus Spirit Shackle anyway. So I go for the Volt Switch here, predicting him to either switch for a double to take advantage of my Mega Pinsir, or to not click a Grass type move, more of a Ghost type move or something like that. So we're going to Volt Switch out, and we're going to get the initiative here versus his Raikou, and we can bring in our Dredagon right off this, and we can set up rocks. We can click Earthquake here. What we're going to do is we're going to just click Stealth Rocks, I believe. See what he wants to go into. He goes into his Decidueye, but we got our rocks up now. He could very well defog, and we're actually going to stay in here and see what he wants to do. We're going to Dragon Tail him out, and he goes for the Shadow Ball, and Volt Switch and Shadow Ball both bounced off of Dredagon. Looking really, really clean there so far, but I Dragon Tail him into his Mega Mawile, and now basically something is going to take a lot of damage. Unfortunately for my opponent, he missed his play rough here. Fortunately, it's not the end of the world for him, because that would have did like 40 to 60% ish, and what I can do is roost up. He did say he has crunch though, so on my roost, first of all, play rough would have did like 50 to 60%. I would have been left at 50 to anywhere between 40 and 50%, and I could roost up. And then crunch would not knock me out, but it could 2-hit KO me. And I don't really have a way to damage him at this point either. So I guess it kind of sucks for him that he didn't, get that damage and gauge my set. It would have did quite a bit, but then he would have been forced to think about whether I had Will-O-Wisp or not, whether I had, Flamethrower, or my item wasn't revealed. Had he landed, my leftovers would have been revealed, and he would have known that I wasn't a Z move. But at this point, he doesn't know if I'm like Inferno Overdrive with Fire Blast, or if I'm like Earthquake with Tectonic Rage or something like that. Lots of different things I could be here, and him missing that play rough sucks because he doesn't know my set. It doesn't suck in the sense that he missed on a knockout there, because he wouldn't have knocked me out, like I mentioned in the Prep Talk video and in my pace bin down below. You can check out my my pace bin, but my Poke Pace down below. You can check out my spreads and stuff like that and see that that would not have knocked me out, but it would have given him valuable information. Anyways, I think he would have been forced to switch here anyway because of the fear of Will-O-Wisp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out into my Rotom Wash. And reason being, this would have been my play had he landed as well. I wouldn't have took the time to roost up because of the potential for crunch, and like baiting the crunch on my Rotom Wash was completely fine because I would outpace and then be able to throw off a Will-O-Wisp on the following turn. So my series of plays wouldn't have changed. I don't know if his series of plays would have changed. I don't know if he would have tried to attack not fearing Will-O-Wisp, or if he saw leftovers and he would fear Will-O-Wisp and he would switch. I'm not really sure how that would go, if he thought I was a Z move or anything like that. A1, if you're watching, please let me know what your thoughts are more in depth there. Like, what would your series of plays been had you landed? Anyways, I double out into my Rotom, expecting him to go into his camera up to take the Will-O-Wisp. Since he's a fire type, it would not burn him. So I go into my Rotom Wash here, and I'm going to click Hydro Pump, and kind of evens out here. Not necessarily even, but miss for miss. This Hydro Pump would have knocked out Camerupt though, so that's something to think about. Whereas his play rough would not have knocked out my Mew, and he would not have gotten this Toxic off. So initially, I thought about Volt Switching here, but it's too risky. He could have Protect and stall me out on Toxic Stall there for a sec, or he could predict my Volt Switch and stay in here and get up rocks, and I thought that was a bad play for me because I have Mega Pinsir. So what I'm going to do is click Hydro Pump once again here, and I land, and it's going to one-shot him. So yeah, that's really nice for me. Able to knock out the Camerupt, and now Zeraora is looking like a huge threat. So he brings in his Decidueye here, and I'm going to hard switch this turn into my Floette. He's revealed to be special with Shadow Ball at least. So he baton passes out into his Mega Mawile and gets the advantage again. But at this point, I don't need Dredagon as much. So what I can do is just drop that bad boy. Reason being, I felt like my Taunt, Calm Mind, Psyshock, Roost, Mew would be able to 1v1 a Calm Mind Raikou. So that's the reason I didn't feel like I needed Dredagon. And the extra chip damage here with the Rough Skin puts him in range of Earthquake, depending on his set, which I felt like, you know, he's not like max HP. He's closer to like maybe 100 EVs or so in HP there. So I go for the Earthquake, and I'm able to knock him out, and he brings in his Raikou. So here's where I'm going to make another kind of a read on my opponent here. If he clicks Thunderbolt and I go into Floette Eternal, he doesn't get much out of the turn. If I go into Zeraora on the Thunderbolt here, again, he doesn't get much because of my Volt Absorb. And then I can fire off a powerful knockoff into close combat, which would be really nice for me to get rid of this thing's item and the close combat damage. First of all, the knockoff damage would put him in range to where he can't switch in on Pinsir, especially in Earthquake. Obviously, Earthquake knocks out from this range too, depending on his set. I believe he revealed Leftovers though. So what I'm going to do here, I don't expect my opponent to click an electric type move, so I'm just going to stay in and click Earthquake. As my opponent clicks Toxic, predicting either my Zeraora, Mew, Floette, or Rotom Wash to come in. And well, I guess he wasn't expecting Rotom Wash if he clicked Toxic, because Rotom Wash was already Toxic. So I'm able to get some another Mon down with Mega Pinsir. He brings in his Garchomp, and this thing could be Stone Edge or Scarf or something like that. I'm going to hard switch out into my Rotom Wash as he reveals to be Outrage. So now what I'm going to do is hard switch into my Floette Eternal, immune to the Outrage, and now he has no switch ins to Moonblast. And what I can do here is go ahead and fire the Moonblast off. Earthquake did a fuck ton there, by the way. It looked like a 2-hit KO, depending on rolls. But yeah, we're able to survive that, knock out the Garchomp with the Moonblast, and now he brings in his Decidueye, and he clicks Nasty Plot, and I clicked Wish, which ends up being a mistake on my part, as my opponent, like, I could have knocked out this Decidueye with the Moonblast from this range, I'm pretty sure, unless he's like max HP, max Spadef. I should be able to, because Decidueye is very, very Spadef bulky, but I think it's in range of Moonblast at this point. So what I should have did was click Moonblast and then took my chances on what his Necrozma was. And he's going to baton pass this Nasty Plot out into the Necrozma as it comes in and takes 42% from Moonblast. But I'm at full now, so he's pretty much got to attack, and he shreds me. He shreds me. It's a Life Orb Necrozma. I'm going to go straight out to my Mega Pinsir because he revealed Life Orb, and I know I'm 100% faster. Able to pick up the knockout on the Necrozma, and I will be able to pick up the knockout on the Decidueye as well, as it revealed its item finally, and that it wasn't choice locking anyway. So we're going to be able to pick up a nice 4-0 win. Excuse me. I'm allergic to wins, I guess. We'll pick up a nice 4-0 win against a very strong opponent. A1 was actually the last remaining undefeated team, and we were able to knock him off, and now there are no more undefeated teams, which puts us in a whole lot better position after picking up 2 losses back to back. We're now sitting at 2-2, just right at 500 on the season so far. So good game to A1. Unfortunate he missed Play Rough. Unfortunate I missed Hydro Pump, but again, it is the game we play. Fortunately, there was no misclicks on my part. I believe he said something about a misclick on his part. I think on the camera up, when the camera up stayed in, I think that was a misclick on his part or something like that. I'm not sure what his play was, but yeah, I suffered the same fate last week, and here we are picking up a nice 4-0 win to bounce back. So really happy about that. Let me know what you guys thought about the prep and plays on both sides of the field. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.